The mind of man is a vast and mysterious realm. Within its labyrinthine passages lie truths barely grasped and shadows ever shifting. One bold explorer ventured forth, torch held high, to illuminate the dark corners and unravel its mysteries. Kant not only scratched the surface of such ideas, he delved deep into the abyss and went deeper than almost anyone at the time. Immanuel Kant peered into the abyss of human reason and returned with revolutionary insights that shook the foundations of philosophy. In this video, we'll explore some key aspects of Kant's metaphysical philosophy. With the rise of empiricism at the time, which argued that all knowledge derives from sensory experience and humans are blank states, Kant was naturally heavily influenced by the school of thought, where Kant mentions that it gave him a different perspective towards the world around him. However, Kant did not give in to empiricism. Instead, he found a middle ground between empiricism and rationalism. To illustrate his ideas, imagine a billiard table with two balls in motion, ball A and ball B. We see ball A come into contact with ball B, and as a result, ball B is set into motion. This observation leads us to infer that ball A caused ball B to move. While we may observe ball A striking ball B and infer a cause and effect relationship, Kant argues that we cannot know, based on our sensory experience alone, whether ball A's impact caused ball B's movement, or if there is some other underlying mechanism at play. Kant asserts that our perception of causality is not inherent in the events themselves, but is rather a product of our cognitive faculties. We impose the concept of causality as a necessary condition for our understanding. Concepts such as time and space are required for us to perceive it. This type of knowledge is deemed synthetic a priori knowledge. Synthetic means that the information is not a tautological statement or simply reiterating the same thing, and a priori means that the information is independent of experience. When we combine these two concepts, we arrive at synthetic a priori knowledge that is both informative, synthetic, and independent of experience, a priori. The statement that 7 plus 5 equals 12 and most of mathematics is, according to Kant, synthetic a priori, for they rely on time and space, which are a priori forms of our sensibility. We don't need to check the statements against objects or observations in the world. Another example is the concept of causality, that everything happens has its cause. This arises when the pure concepts of the understanding or the categories are applied to time. For Kant, the existence of synthetic a priori knowledge meant that there is a crucial distinction between the phenomenal world, the world as we experience it through our senses and knowledge, versus the nominal world, the things themselves in reality. Modern philosophers often use the analogy of the rose-tinted glasses to understand this phenomenon. If you are wearing rose-tinted glasses, it will color every aspect of your visual perception, and even if you forget that you are wearing them, it will still affect what you are seeing. We all walk around the world with a sort of filter like this. This filter is the synthetic a priori knowledge that is innate to humans. Kant believed that we can never truly remove the filter of our human perception to see the world as it really is, independent of synthetic a priori knowledge. Thus, the nominal world remains forever beyond our grasps. Kant's ideas emphasized the active and important role of the human mind in structuring our experiences, and not just some blank slate passively receiving sensory data. His ideas shook the foundations of rationalism and empiricism, pioneering a revolution in philosophy that shapes modern thought to this day. And it should remind us that we are not objective, independent observers of ourselves, but creatures with rose-tinted spectacles. Now, let's see an interview I had with my friend and see what she thinks about this idea. Let's start off by talking about the billiard ball experiment, in which Kant draws the conclusion that the observation of causation is because of some innate human condition.
No, but we know causation exists because of math, because of physics, the conservation of energy. Scientific discovery and research has already found the reason behind it. The energy from this ball is transferred to the other ball.
I think you're misunderstanding the question. I think what he's saying is that there may be mechanisms at play when the ball collides, something that is not causation, something else.
Oh, I think I get what you mean. Is this similar to the turkey and farmer analogy? There's a farmer. Every day he kills a turkey, and suddenly one day he stopped. In the beginning, a turkey scientist within the pen postulated that every day the farmer will kill a turkey. But when the day came, they found out that it was not a universal law. The farmer didn't kill a turkey, and thus the axiom of science is destroyed.
Yeah, I guess it can be interpreted this way. Let's see what she thinks about synthetic a priori knowledge. Do you think that humans are born with any ideas?
Absolutely not. We're not born with any ideas. Knowledge comes from experiences and the information we receive from others.
Okay, how about we look at some examples of synthetic a priori knowledge? See if that will change your mind.
If a person stays with a wolf pack for 20 years, comes back to human civilization, and are showed questions of math or logic, they're just going to say they have no clue what you're talking about.
Let's say, how do you think we have gained knowledge relating to time or space?
We're not born with knowledge of these things. They all come from experience. A baby has never learned it, so obviously they won't know what it means to move.
How about this? How do you think the world works in relation to the real and unknown world?
Humans are born as blank sheets of paper. They'll never be able to obtain any knowledge without experience. And the tool that is used to print knowledge onto these sheets of paper cannot provide the true technology or tool to view the unknown world.
Wait, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and if you need to view reality, you'll need all of the tools. I do think that humans have all the tools necessary to view reality. It's just that we need to activate them.
Why would you think so?
For example, let's take human logic. We inherently have the knowledge of being human, but there needs to be some outside experience that prompts this within us. Only then can the tools be used.
I'm going to continue to question her ideas, and let's see how she reacts. Okay, yeah, I think I understand the idea about the tools and using the tools to gain knowledge. But how can we develop new tools if the tools we already have to discover these new tools are flawed?
Scientific advancement is continuing to develop into a state where we view it with higher and higher accuracy. So even if we are using flawed tools, we can still develop.
But there's going to be a limit for each of the tools that are used, no?
So when we realize that human logic has reached its limit, then there will be upgrades to the current system. Similar to evolution, it will continue to refine. If we're given infinite time, then we will at some point be able to perceive the real world.
Using the same logic, humans can fly given infinite time to develop.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Never mind then, let's move on. Finally, let's see what she thinks we should do given the newfound knowledge. How do you think we should reconcile with the fact that the tools we use to view the world are fundamentally flawed?
I don't think we can truly do anything to change it. So I say we just act like nothing happened, do as we have done in history, and keep accepting new innovations and ideologies.
Now, let's analyze the interview and the view that she holds regarding the issue. The interviewee's thinking is emblematic of the optimistic and scientific spirit of the modern era, defined by wholehearted beliefs in new ideologies that promise progress and enlightenment, where human reason and empirical evidence are treated as a cure-all for the problems of philosophy. She repeatedly references physics, sciences, evolution, and human development as an answer to the many problems we face. She wants to believe in the inevitable progress of humankind, trusting in our innate abilities fostered through evolution and development. Another key characteristic is the inner contradictions within her views. On one hand, she espouses empiricism, stating that we are born without innate ideas. Yet, she also pivots to rationalist claims that we have innate tools of reason, needing only activation. It seems as though she wants to trust in both human reason and evidence from the senses. Her appeal to contradictory schools of thought shows the tension between optimism and skepticism in modern thought. But most interestingly, this exact inconsistency echoes the conflict between empiricism and rationalism that Kant tried to reconcile with his theories. In general, it can be said that her beliefs and thinking reflects the incomplete resolution between beliefs and doubts that has defined the modern intellectual journey. This leaves her passively accepting our rose-tinted glasses, rather than striving to escape the dogmatic wanderings of life. Skepticism is thus a resting place for human reason, where it can reflect upon its dogmatic wanderings and make survey of the region in which it finds itself, so that for the future it may be able to choose its path with more certainty.